Are you on a healing or awakening journey, and when things kind of get dark or bad, or they don't progress the way you want to, you kind of have a little bit of a freak out? In this video, I'm going to be explaining what happens during these phases where things aren't going the way we want them to, and we can actually start to doubt whether or not things are ever going to come out the other side in a better way. My name's Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before I get started, I just want to let you know I'm doing some free breakthrough calls. There's a link pinned in the comment section below. Now, real briefly, what's a breakthrough call? So we get on Zoom and I just help you kind of go over your vision for your life, like what it is you're looking to create, what inspires you. And then more importantly, we get into the blocks and the things underneath the surface that are preventing you from either calling this in and attracting it or taking the action to do so. And then I help you troubleshoot some different options that you have in order to really work these things out so you can align with your highest vision. Okay. So I have been on a healing journey for many, many years, and I am still blindsided sometimes when it gets super dark, as it's gotten recently. It's been like really dark the last few weeks. Like sunk into a crazy ass depression. I don't know if it's the eclipses or what it is. I mean, I don't like to be like, oh, it's the eclipse, it'll be over soon, because there's always something else. And then it's going to be Mercury retrograde, or there's going to be trauma from the election, or there's going to be, Pluto going into Aquarius, or Saturn's retrograde, or, there's always something where there's solar flares and influxes of energy, and just ride it out for another week, and then it's going to get better until the next thing comes that you go back into the dark. Like, it just kind of goes on all the time. But the last few weeks have been very, very dark. And this kind of coincides with something that happens with my clients, especially when they're new. So when you're on a healing journey, what happens is you can only go kind of one layer at a time through stuff. Okay? Think of it as like Russian dolls. There's a layer inside a layer, inside a layer, inside a layer, inside a layer. And the bad news is, on some level, that goes on forever. But the good news is it gets better and better and better and better and better. Now, sometimes you get to a point where there's actually completion with a particular topic or event, and there is a big internal and external shift. But a lot of times, we just go through more layers of deeper levels of the same stuff. I'm going to bookmark that. My philosophy is that one of the reasons things are so repetitive is not because energy is cyclical. It's not because that we're always evolving. Those things are true, but the reason it's so difficult is because we have not yet, as human beings, quite gotten to the level of lighter density to where the topics can shift more sooner. Because if you worked hard on something for a while and then there was a big breakthrough and a big shift, and it's like, okay, I kind of got that under control, let me learn this, it would be way more rewarding. I think a lot of us just feel like we're looping forever because of the density. So at some point, I do believe that's going to clear up and get easier. And it's starting to for some people, but for now, this is some of what to understand. So when you're healing, okay, sometimes it can feel like you're getting nowhere. Sometimes you can have sessions or releases or clearings, and you can notice almost nothing. One of the reasons for this is because we can't see what we're doing in all dimensions. We think with like 5 to 10% of our brain, our conscious mind. We forgot who we were when we came here. We forgot our past lives. We forgot all this stuff. Some of the stuff we're clearing isn't even ours. It's ancestral. It's energetic. It's from your lineage 17 generations back. It's from the collective. There's so many layers that we're going through all the time. Just know that you can't see what's going on. You might, so just know, sometimes you might be sitting on the couch for 2 weeks feeling like nothing's happening and you're stuck, but your subconscious is actually processing out things. It's digesting information, it's releasing trauma patterns, it's releasing things from your body, and at some point you're going to come out of that cave like, expanded into something new. But what can happen is you can be working on particular layers for a while and not notice anything. You might you might have 3 sessions with an energy worker or a trauma release specialist, and they're enormous sessions and you don't really notice anything. What's happening there is, say you have a layer that's like, it's 100% of the layer. And for whatever reason, you need to clear 100% of this layer before you notice a difference. Sometimes you might only need to clear 40% before you notice a difference, whatever. But this layer, you have to clear 100%. And it's a huge, deep, dense layer. And in one session, you cleared 30%. That's a huge piece to take out in one session, but you didn't notice anything. You do another session, 32%. You do another session, 30-something other percent, whatever. You got 3% left, but you don't notice anything yet. That last 3% that's taken off is what's going to cause some sort of noticeable shift internally or externally or both. Obviously, I mean, the internal affects the external, but sometimes you clear things internally, you don't notice the external yet. It's very complicated. And that could come from the smallest thing. It could come from getting a massage. It could come from just turning on a YouTube video and getting a realization. Now, had you not cleared the other 97%, that realization wouldn't have done anything. And what we tend to do is credit whatever's in front of us that seemed to prompt that big shift where we noticed it. And it's not that that thing doesn't deserve any credit, but we will write off the 3 things we did before as not helping just because we didn't feel it. And this is very important to understand, because it doesn't just simply relate to the healing process, it relates to our entire lives. We all have this tendency to invalidate our past, even if it's good. And you don't ever want to invalidate your past, because if you're invalidating your past, you're invalidating your present, you're invalidating your future. Now, obviously, if you do something or you do some work on yourself and you don't notice anything and you're still in that dark place, you're not going to be able to really be like, oh my God, that was amazing. And you can sit there and keep trying to reaffirm with your affirmations that it was amazing because you're in so much darkness. I know that, but you just want to start to open your subconscious mind to understanding that like everything has relevance. And then the trick here is it's all whether you perceive it to be or not. So if you perceive each thing as having a benefit, then it starts to. It's like embodying that whole philosophy of life. Life is happening for me instead of to me. Things are happening for me, not to me. Okay, so that's really important to understand it. The other important thing to understand is when you go into these really dark layers, there's this trick that the mind plays. The mind will always want to tell you that this time it's different. This time, you're not getting out of this. This time, you really do need to just give up. This time, you really are more fucked up than you ever have been before. This time, something really did go wrong. This time, it really is too much. This time, you really can't handle it. This time, it is gonna break you. No. Now again, when you're in those spaces, you're not going to believe what I'm telling you right now. You're not going to feel what I'm telling you right now. I've been going through this for years. I've been sitting on the couch for a week or two just knowing all this stuff, and it doesn't really work, but it does a little. You want to just get it into your subconscious, into your body a little bit, that it's like, no, this time, every time, there's a way out. That's how infinite consciousness works. There's always a solution. There's always a way out. There's always an evolution up. Even in a human being's life, when you might be 90 years old and your body's falling apart and it's fucking miserable and you might be dying soon, there's still a level up consciously, even if you pass or have to cross to find it. There always is. We just don't necessarily feel it or experience it in that moment. And one of the things that I've been kind of talking about, but that happens, is these really gnarly layers come up. And they kind of have to expand and get bigger and bigger and heavier and heavier and heavier until they pop or, release or clear. So just be patient with yourself. Know that you don't know all of what's going on. There are things you can do to move all of this forward when you're in these spaces. There is energy to clear. Sometimes we get stuck because there is something we need to know. We do need help releasing a particular layer. There is a belief system. There's always something underneath the surface that's linking to these layers, that when you get the lesson or get the belief or make the shift or get the clearing, it does resolve. But again, it also takes time. So it's good to have the mindset of like, what else can I do? What else can I look at? What am I not getting here? Or what can I learn to move this along? But be very gentle with that. I mean, I think most of the people out there need more of that. I happen to be someone who, you can go too far into any extreme, where like I'm always obsessively looking for like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to clear? What do I need to, and what that does is it shuts down the patience and the acceptance, which just keeps pushing me forward and then starts to create more problems to clear, because it's the mindset of like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? What do I need to move? And then I start attracting more things to always be clearing and moving and problems to solve. So you want to just try to do the best you can to find the center and the balanced space of like, okay, is there anything that I can do right now to move this along? Is there someone I can call? Is there a shift that can happen? Is there an action I can take? Would it be good to journal about this? Is it good to meditate? Sometimes you just gotta sit on the couch, staring at the ceiling, watching the room spin, waiting for it to just pass too. And it's like that balanced space of like allowing and accepting that things happen at their own time, and then just seeing gently if there's a movement you can make. I hope this helps, but it's very important to understand this is just part of the process. Those super dark spaces, just know like the darker it gets, the lighter it gets. The bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough. The bigger the layer that pops, the bigger the expansion. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that helped. Please let me know if you have any comments, revelations, breakthroughs. I think everybody who watches my videos, I always very much appreciate it. I always love hearing from everybody. I have a free energy clearing in the description below that can help if you're in one of these states. Other than that, I look forward to next time. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.